We'll start standing. Take a standing march with high knees. You can take the arms overhead, pulling the arms down, reaching up high for the sky, and then pulling elbows down. You add in a little sharp exhale here. Each time you bring your knee up, I want you to think about really pressing your thigh in closer to your body, expelling the air from your body with your leg, as well as firing on your abs. All right, I like to get started on our feet, get some blood pumping through our bodies, and then we'll take a minute to stretch things out just a little bit before we head into all of our fun barre and freestanding sequences. We'll spend some time on the mat at the end of class today. So again, my name is Anna. Thanks for being here with me. Excited to work out with you guys. Doesn't look like anyone has their video on today, which is totally fine. I'll just work on giving you really good cues. So hopefully everyone can feel confident about their alignment. All right, let's take 4 more each side. Here's 3, last 2, and 1. Good. You can stay facing me if you want. I'm going to turn to face the side. We're going to start with the marching lunge. So make sure that you have space behind you. The movement is going to be moving back. Take your right foot back into a split lunge to start. Let's hold there for a moment and talk about our alignment. So in this pose, we want our hips to be square. What I mean by that is if you draw your hand across from one hip point to another, it stays in one even line. It does not go back or forward, right? They're right across, they're right next to each other. So for me, I'm always firing on my back butt cheek to get that back hip up in line with my front hip. There's a natural tendency to try to open it up to the side. Okay, other things to think about. You want your front knee over your front ankle behind the toes. And you're aiming for 90 degrees in both knees. So try to get that back knee a little closer to the ground. Now come back up to stand where you started. Take the opposite leg back. I'm not going to talk through all of that again, but I want you to be thinking about alignment. Knee over ankle, hips in line, back glute firing on. Get a little lower, okay? Feel it in your body. Come back to stand. Now take that at your own pace. Switching the leg that steps back. Right foot back, then left foot back. You can add a little swing of the arms here. We're going to be adding on. So I asked you to make sure that you have space behind you. I also want you to have space in front of you, enough to kick your leg. So if you need to shuffle around in your space a little bit, make some room for that. We're adding on with that leg kick on my cue. Let's take 1 more each leg. Now add that kick. So when you come up to stand, it's a kick. Then you come to put your feet together, okay? Split lunge, kick, feet together. Split lunge, kick, feet together. If you want, you can add a punch as you kick forward. Good. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to hold low in that split lunge. Pulse low on my cue. Let's take 1 more just like this. Kicking, standing, lunging. Now, step your right foot back. Hang out low, pulsing down. Pulse your back knee closer to the floor. Pulse it down, down. Good. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, hold in 2, and 1. Hold there. Now I want you to think about bringing your knees in toward your center line, in closer to one another, releasing to your hip width distance, okay? So not going really wide at any point, just thinking about in, release for 8, 7, 6, 5. We come to stand in 3, 2, and 1. Come to stand. Take your left foot back. All right, we're pulsing down, down. Find that strong alignment. If you've been forgetting about firing on that back butt cheek, think about that now. Little tiny tuck of the pelvis. Is your core engaged? Maybe take your hand, 1 or both hands to your abs to feel your core engaged. Pulse it down and down. Just for 8, 7, 6, and 5. Hold low in 4, Last 3. Here's 2 and 1. Knees come in, holding low, working your inner thighs, knees pressing together, in, resistance on the way in, resistance as you release, for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, come up to stand. Take a little step and reach. Think about this as sort of a modified jumping jack. You can get a little air time as you switch from one foot to the other. Really reach big overhead. Feel that stretch through your side body as you reach it. 4 more. 3, last 2, 1, coming into your goddess pose. Feet are wide, heels in, toes out. Sit down into your goddess pose. I always need to, after I sit down, kind of readjust my feet. Push them out a little bit further apart from one another so that my knees are over my ankles. So think about that. We have a nice turnout here. Pulsing down, 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 just right here to start. You might want to grab your weights. We'll use them optionally as we do some standing, or I should say squatting abs here in our goddess pose. So if you're choosing weights, you're going to have one weight in each hand, holding your hands behind your thighs, right next to your butt. Pulse down and down for 8, 7, 6, 5, here's 4, 3, 2, hold low, tick-tock, side to side, working your obliques, working actually through the entire core, keeping your body really stable and in control here, while at the same time you have this big range of motion side to side, dip, dip, take your hand a little lower, dip a little farther, side to side for 8. We'll hold low and pulse. 5 more. 4, 3, last 2, and 1. Hold to the right, pulse down, down. Really open up through your top left shoulder. Think about rolling that shoulder up and back. Maybe gaze up in the direction of that shoulder. Keep pulsing low, low. Anytime your legs need a break, you can straighten out your legs. We're here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to alternating side to side to side. Left and right, or right and left, side to side. Holding your and pulsing on your second side in 3. Here's 2 and 1. Hold and pulse your second side. Again, think about that top shoulder rolling up and back, creating space across your breast line. Chin comes up to the opposite side, the side that you're not pulsing on. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. If you have weights, you can take your hands to your heart center. If you don't have weights, take your hands behind your head. We're taking a standing crunch. So we're crunching. Our pelvis is lifting up and coming forward. At the same time, head, neck, and shoulders are dipping down, crunching in, bringing your chin to your chest. Standing abs, working our lower half here at the same time. Those inner thighs really work to help with that pelvic thrust or pelvic tuck. Your thighs should be burning a bit here from holding in this goddess pose. Let's just take 8 more right here. We'll get a little stretch in 7, 6. Keep breathing. Last 3, 2, and 1. Straighten out your legs. Let's take our feet parallel to one another. So toes and heels in line, arms out to a T, hinge at the hips, fold forward. Take a little stretch here. So a wide V stretch, hands come down to the center to start. I'm gonna look up at you just to make a little eye contact. I want you to let your head hang heavy. Let your neck be really long here. Feel that deep stretch through the back of your legs. As you're ready, move your hands over to one side. Maybe grab a hold of your foot or your ankle or your shin. Hold there and breathe. And walk your hands over to your second side. Hold and breathe. Good. If you want to take a surface pose here, you're going to broaden the stance in your legs a little bit. Drop down to one side. I like to flex the foot of the outstretched leg. I like to try to keep the entire foot on the ground on the other side. Heel all the way to toes. Switch over to your second side. Stretch here for a moment, then as you're ready, you'll come back up to your goddess pose. All right, rise up. Let's all meet in our goddess pose. So again, heels in and toes out. Take a little cat and cow here. So for your cat pose, I want you to take your arms forward, reach underneath your thighs, pull your thighs forward. At the same time, you're rounding your chin into your chest. So we did a little bit of this movement earlier when we were doing our standing crunches or our goddess squat crunches. Now we're adding our hands here to intensify the stretch down our back line. Then take your hands on top of your thighs, open up the chest, lengthen the neck for cow pose. If you liked the way that felt, take it one more time. If you didn't like it, maybe you're taking something else here. Stretching arms overhead or taking a barrel roll, whatever feels good for you. Okay, so if you want those weights, go ahead and grab them. We're going to just come into our static pose in our legs here, moving the arms. So if you have your weights, they're just in your hands. We're bringing your arms up overhead to a goal pose to begin, then change it into a little bit more of a W pose. So you're just taking those elbows down a couple of inches. I want you to think about moving your arms back behind you as much as you can, really opening up through your chest. For anyone who spends a lot of time hunched over a computer or a desk, we're really taking the opposite movement, opposite of what you're doing so many hours of the day, really opening things up here. Now bring your arms out to a T. Again, stretching your arms back. Bring your elbows into your sides. You're making an L and mirror image of an L here. I think bring your palms back a little bit further. Fists come back toward the wall behind you. Good. Drop the arms down. Take a couple of shoulder rolls. One direction, then the other. We're going to do all of that again. So bring your arms up, goal post. Come down into that W position. Broaden, lengthen, create more space on the front line, less space on the back line, right? So you're thinking about pulling those shoulder blades together behind you. Open up to a T. Then we bring elbows into the sides. Inhale. Big exhale, hold right there, sink a little deeper. Come all the way up to stand, shake it out. Drop the weights if you have them, grab your chair or your bar. So we are going to be using the seat of the chair at some point in class today, but right now we're just using it as a stand-in for our bar. So if you do have a yoga ball, remember I said this is an optional prop. If you have it, now would be a fun time to grab it. I'm going to take some hamstring and glute work here at the bar. So face your bar, feet are parallel, hip width distance apart. Take the ball, put it behind one leg. Got it behind my right leg. You can take either side. Okay. So put some pressure on that ball right away. Think about flexing your foot, bringing your heel in toward your seat. Now from there, you're taking your foot and pressing it back to the wall behind you. So you're firing on your hamstrings, keeping that ball in place, putting some pressure on the ball, flattening it out a little bit. At the same time, you're really flexing your foot as much as you can and pulsing back. Imagine you're stamping your foot on the wall behind you. As you release here, I want you to keep your legs in line with one another. I'm going to show you what not to do. Don't swing, okay? Don't let that lifted knee come in front of your standing leg. Keep it a smaller range of motion, focusing on moving back and back. Keep back. So while we're here for a moment, I will remind everybody that Thursday is April Fool's Day. I have little kids, so I'm trying to think of creative, fun things to do to make the day extra fun. All right, let's hold. Now think about just putting pressure on that ball. So bring your heel closer to your seat. So one of the things that I came across was the idea of making brownies but you open up the pan and show them the brownies and it's just like brown construction paper cut in the shape of an E. I think I'm going to do that one. They've actually never had brownies that I know of, so I'll have like a real pan of brownies too after the big laugh. Oh, this hurts. Keep going. We're going to add a combo coming next. We're going to pulse the foot back and then heel comes up towards your butt. 4 more here. 2 and 1. Make it a combo. Press it back and up, back and up, back, up, back, up. Again, being careful not to let your knee come in front of the standing leg. Standing glute should be really on fire here too, by the way. It's working hard to stabilize you. Keep those hips square. Little tiny tuck of the pelvis if you're feeling any tension or sway in your low back. A little more bend into your standing leg. Check with one hand on your core. Can you feel your abs engaging? Thinking about pressing your belly button toward your spine. Keep with this combo for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Fire hydrant, lifting straight up to the side. So your leg stays in the same position the whole time. It just simply lifts up out to the side, just like a dog doing its thing on the fire hydrant, right? Flex that foot, lift and lower, keep it really controlled, nice and slow here. Up and down, up and down. Woo! 4 more, 3 more, last 2, and 1. Now I want you to lift again, opening your hip up to the side this time. Open it up. Open it up. So a little bit of an arabesque here. Lift. In an arabesque, we're generally lifting it more like straight back behind us, like this. So we have the turnout the whole time, even as we release. I'm asking you to open up sort of on your way up. And then we'll move to an arabesque as our last part of the sequence, okay? 4 more just like this. Closing the hips and opening them up. Last 2 and 1. Now, in your low point, I want you to get that turnout happening right away. So turn out, and knee comes out to the side. You're opening up the hip on that one side. Now lift and lower from right there. So here, leg stays in the same position, hip stays in the same position the whole time. It's just lifting and lowering, lifting and lowering. Oh, let's finish this. 8 more, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, you've got it, 2, and 1. Drop it down, take the ball out of there if you have it. I'm gonna take a couple of quick stretches here. So if you have a chair like mine where you can kind of sneak your leg in there, I'm gonna take a stretch down the hamstring of that working leg. If that's not available to you, just take a pyramid pose with a nice big hinge at the hips there, okay? Let's hold that for a couple more breaths. Want your toes to be pointing up to the sky here. Flex the foot, point the foot, flex and point. Make this active. 1 more. Good. And release. Take a figure 4. So your standing leg, your rooted leg, you're going to take that ankle up and over your opposite thigh. Sit down into your chair in a figure 4 here, using the chair for balance as needed. You can take your hands off your chair. Maybe take one hand on your foot, one hand on your knee of that lifted leg. I like to put some pressure into my top knee, push it down toward the floor of the mat. Breathe. Let this feel good. Get a little lower, a little more hinge at your hips here. Let your chest come forward, down, just a bit further. 1 more deep breath. All right, if you have that infinity band and you want to throw it on, now's the time. This is, I think, the only time we're going to use it. Don't have it? That's cool. Don't need it. Put it right around your shins, so halfway between your knees and your ankles is a good spot for it. We're going to set up our diamond legs at the bar. So I'll start facing you. I'm going to be moving around, but you can just stay facing your chair the whole time. Just want you to see the position here. So heels are in, toes are out to start. Now come up onto your highest heels. So heels lift as high as you can get them. Then walk your heels together, sit down into your imaginary chair. Maybe adjust your band if you've got that. Your knees come really, really wide here. Open it up. Now take it down. If your band is falling, another option, you can take a little space between your heels. Okay, we're pulsing down. So you might be facing your chair. So we're gonna start lifting our legs in a bit here. And I want you to have space for that without kicking your chair. And I'm gonna see if I can do it facing you the whole time. Pulsing down. Always an option. You can really challenge your balance. Take your hand off the chair, take hands to heart center or out to a T. I want you to think about tiny tuck of the pelvis here. We want one long line from your booty all the way to the crown of your head. Fire on that core. Get it a little lower. Pulse it down, down, and down. For 8, 7, 6, 5. Beat change. 4, 3, 2. Hold it low. We're going to add a step out side to side. So you step toes out to one side, back to where you started. Out to the other side, back to where you started. That's it. Step it out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in. So as you're stepping out, it's a little bit of a diagonal step, a little bit in front, not just purely out to the side. So you're basically moving it in the line of your feet, right? Your feet are in that diagonal position, heels in, toes out. So you're stepping forward in line with the position of your foot. Out, side to side. Woo! So those glutes should be starting to really fire on here, as well as the quads. We're working in our diamond legs. Keeping low, maybe get your butt a little lower here. Can you do it? Step right and left, outside to side. 4, 8, 7, 6, holding low in 5, just 4, 3, last 2, and 1. Hold low. Take your heels together, maybe just a few inches apart. Now, use your chair as much as you need, but try not to lean too much into it. So keep a long line through your spine. I want you to put all your weight into your left toes. Lift your right foot and kick it up. Out, flexing your right foot or your lifted foot. So it's a bend and straighten. Getting it as straight as you can. Up, up. Kick, kick, lift, lift. Keep it going. 4, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Hold it up. In 2 and 1. Just hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Taking it to our second side. Second side. Take that leg up. Woo, find your balance. I'm going to move a little closer to my chair here so I don't fall over. Bend and straighten. Bend and straighten, bend and straighten. Get your leg as straight as you can. Flexing the foot of the lifted leg. Keep it moving. Long spine. Lift, lift, extend. Flex your foot. Keep it moving. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold high. Hold it right there. Maybe add a pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take your heels back to where you started. You can let that band fall at this point if you want. We're not going to be doing any more of those kicks. So I want you to have your heels together. Come up a little higher. Heels get a little higher. Maybe step your toes a little bit closer together. Now get down to your low point. Pulse right there. Pulse it. Down. We'll move full range in 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take it down all the way up, all the way down, all the way up, down, up, down. Get a little lower on your down. Get all the way up on your up. So you come all the way up, no bend in the knees, inner thighs kissing together, down, up, down, and up for 4, 3, holding low in 2, hold low on your 1, get low, hip lifts, take right hip up, left hip up, hip comes up, alternating sides, we stay low in the legs the whole time. Just work those hips, side to side for 8, 7, this is it, just to hold. In 5, here's 4, 3, this is it, last 2, and 1. Woo! Good. Oh, I skipped the hold. Let's get out of it. That was enough. right? If you want, let's take a little quad stretch here. We'll take it on both sides. So heel comes in toward your seat. You're pulling your foot up in closer to your butt. You're moving the knee in line with the standing leg at the same time. So think about that sense of opposition. Your knees coming forward, your thighs moving forward in space at the same time. You're pulling it back. You're pulling it back. That's where the stretch comes in. Okay, take that on your second side. We're gonna stick with some more work at the bar here. And of course, we need to get that glute and hamstring set with the ball on our second side. So we'll get there. First, we're gonna come into a hinged squat. So when you're done with your stretch here, shake it out. I'm gonna get you set up in position here at the bar. So we're facing the bar, feet are parallel, hip width distance apart. Then you're gonna sit down into your chair. Try to keep your knees behind your toes here. Your weight is really in your heels. I feel right away, this is what my body wants to do. I want to get that big sway in my low back. That's not good. I'm going to try to correct for that. Tuck my pelvis, engage my core, one long line. Now see how that flattened out, smoothed out down my back side. One long line from your butt to the crown of your head, including through your neck here. So your gaze is probably down to the seat of your chair. Okay, I want you to hinge at the hips. A little more here. Hinge at the hips. Your chest comes down a bit. Now, pulse right there, pulse into your legs, get down and down. Feeling your glutes right away. Pulse it low, 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 and low. We're gonna add a step back with an alternating leg. So your right toes will come back behind you, then your left toes will come back behind you. As we move through that, I want you to put the top of your foot down on the mat rather than stepping onto your tiptoes behind you. So I'll show you what that looks like. Pulse down, kick back, pulse down, kick back. It's nice and slow and controlled. As we step back, we're putting the top of our foot on the floor. Get down, step back, low, step back. We're staying low the whole time, but we get down extra low each time we step our feet together at the top. Guys, it's already just about 12:30. This class always moves so fast. There's so much more I was hoping to do standing up, but we're gonna head down to the mat pretty soon here. Down, tap back, get low, tap back, get low, tap back. 2 more times each side. Then we're gonna hold the right foot back. Last time on the left, now squat low, hold your right foot back, lift and lower, lift and lower. Keep your hips square the whole time. I want your back knee facing the mat the whole time. Lift and lift. Hover the foot off the ground as you release to your low point. Move at your own pace. Any pace is a good pace. Take any little sway out of your low back if you can. Think about pushing that belly button up and in, tightening up your rib cage. Breathe right here. Just a few more counts. Up, up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, feet together. Hold that hinge squat, pulse down. If you need a little break in your legs, you're pulsing, or you're moving full range rather. Move from a pulse all the way to a sit and stand. Each time you come to stand, you're pushing your hips forward, really firing on your glutes to thrust your pelvis forward. Or you're right here in your pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Left foot back, hold it there. We lift and lower. Lift and lower, lift, lower, up and down. Check that your hips are square. Okay, so there's a natural tendency to want to open it up to the side. Keep your hips in line with one another. Your back knee should be facing down rather than out to the side wall. Lift, lower, stay low in your rooted leg. Put a little more bend in that knee. Lift and lower for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, last 2, and 1. Good. If you used that ball in our first set at the bar here, grab it again. If you don't have it, just use an imaginary ball. Use your mind. Okay, so we're putting it behind our opposite foot. Setting up our stance here again with Legs hip width distance apart, feet parallel. Okay, then we're flexing the foot of the lifted leg. We're putting pressure on that ball right away. We're keeping our knees in line. We're never letting that lifted knee swing in front. We're keeping it in line or behind the whole time. Start with that pulse back. Sole of the lifted foot is moving toward the wall behind you. Breathe. Breathe. Think about your inner thighs working here too. Pulling your legs a little closer to one another. Pulse it back. We're adding on with a squeeze on the ball coming next. Then a combo. We're here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now put some pressure on that ball. Squeeze your heel in toward your seat. So we were talking about April Fools last time we were doing this exercise, so I'll share another story. In college, this is the meanest thing I've ever done. My roommate was super straight-laced. I was too, but she was like on the volleyball team and acing all of her classes, and she had a water bottle on her test, and I changed the water out for vodka, and she took a big sip. She spit most of it out, but I'll never forget that. It was pretty funny. Let's add that combo now. Pulse it back, pulse the ball. So pulsing the leg back and squeezing the ball. Woo! Woo! Why does that combo feel hard? It's so simple. So find your own pace here. We've got those fire hydrants coming next. Are you ready? 4 more, 3 more, last 2, and 1. Don't lose that ball. Keep a squeeze on it. Fire hydrant, lift and lower. Put a little bigger bend in the standing leg maybe here. Lifting and lowering straight up to the side. So from here, we're going to play around with opening up that hip. Remember, in our first set, we're going to keep our hips facing forward as we release, and as we lift, we open our hips up to the side, okay? We move there in 4, 3, last 2, and 1. Now, opening up your hips as you come up. That knee. Woo! Whose standing glute is really angry right now? Yeah, I'm feeling it. 4 more right here. 3 more. Last 2 and 1. Now take your turnout right at your base. So you're taking your turnout right here. Knee comes out to the side. Now we lift and lower. So we keep the leg in that static position as we lift and lower in our arabesque. Lift, lift, lift. The beat is fast here. You don't have to go at my speed. Lift, up, up. We're not here long. This is it for 8, 7, 6, 5, just 4 more. 3, woo! Last 1, good. Release that ball. Let's get a little stretch. What should we start with? Let's start with the hamstring. Okay, so you're finding a nice resting place for your left heel. Hinging at the hips. You can take this in a pyramid pose or use the seat of your chair. Let that feel good. Okay, and then let's take our figure 4 on our second side. So it's the leg that was standing, stabilizing, rooting you. That's the ankle that comes up and over the opposite thigh here for that nice big stretch. Flex the lifted foot, put a little pressure on the lifted knee, move it in the direction of the floor to intensify the stretch. Sit a little deeper, hinge a little more at the hips, decreasing the space between your thighs and your belly, tightening that angle up. Hold there for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Here's where we're going to use that chair a little differently. We're going to sit on the chair, facing the seat back of the chair. I'm going to do this at kind of an angle for you. Okay, so start nice and easy. We're just going to lift and lower, lifting the right heel up and down, up, up, right there. We're going to be working our quads here. Start right there, nice and easy. Just coming up onto your toes and releasing down, hovering at your low point. Adding on from here, we're going to lift the knee all the way up so the foot comes completely off the floor. We'll add that on in 4 and 3, last 2 and 1. Now take it up, up, pointing your foot. The range of motion doesn't have to be big here. Woo, you can use that chair to brace against. Lift, lift, up and up. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Make it a kick now. So you're kicking. Woo! Oh my gosh, this is hard. This is really hard. You're kicking up. I'm really bracing into that chair to help with my form, keeping a long line through my backside, kind of pushing forward with one arm and pulling back with the second arm. Ha! Hip flexor, right? Who's feeling that? 4 more, 3 more, last 2. Can you hold it? Can you hold it up? Yes, you can. Let's pulse it up. Pulse it right there for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, last 2, and 1. Come up to your goddess, hovering above your chair. Take it up and down, kind of a small range of motion, not all the way up to straight legs. Hovering your butt off the seat of that chair as you come low. Now let's find our low point, pulse it down. We're gonna add a combo, pulse down, press your knees back, down, knees back, down, knees back, knees get wide as you can get them. I like to put my palms on my knees or kind of on my thighs here and really assist a little bit, push them a little wider. And then as you release, don't let them cave in, okay? Come back to your starting point and then just think wider, wider. You're pulsing low, you're getting wide. We're gonna come to our second side, seated on the chair. After 8 more here. This is 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, release. I'll move over, facing the other side. We're moving on to that second leg. Start nice and easy, just lift the heel. All you gotta do is lift the heel up and down. Ha! 8 minutes left in class. We're coming down to our mat after this. Up, up. You can take this at whatever pace you want. You know where we're going from here. We're gonna lift the knee up. Foot comes all the way up off the floor in 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Lift, lift, up and up. Woo! Moving on to our flick kick. Next move in 8, 7, 6, 5. Here's 4, 3, last 2, and 1. Make it a flick kick. Really straighten out your leg. Point your foot each time you lift. Up, up. We just have our hold and our pulse in 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold it up. Can you pulse? Try to get your thigh off the seat of the chair for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Let's move that chair out of the way. Let's see here. I'm gonna grab your weights if you want them. We're gonna move into triangle pose. One more thing standing up here. Okay, so to get into this pose, I like to start in a warrior 2 if you're familiar with yoga poses. Okay, so your back foot is at a diagonal, your front foot is facing directly to the wall opposite you. Then straighten out that front leg. Take your palm, the hand that's next to your front leg is going to trace on top of your thigh. The other hand is going to come up, bicep by the ear. Now we're tracing down and up the front leg. Option to release those weights at any time. This is another standing core pose where we're working our entire core, really focusing on our obliques here. You're facing the side of the room, reaching down over your front leg. Breathe. You can trace your leg at any speed, but do really think about keeping yourself in control here. Don't let this be loosey-goosey. Let this feel like resistance on the way up, resistance on the way down. Just 4 more. 3, hold your low point into, Hold your low point. From your low point, pulse your top arm up and up. It's a small range of motion, just a couple of inches. Put a little bend in that front knee if it's feeling like it's locked out. We're here for 8, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Come to stand. Good. We're going to take that on the second side. So switching to warrior 2, facing the other direction. Then straightening out that front leg, letting your back arm come up alongside your ear, your front palm come on top of your front leg, then reaching down, reaching up. Oh, really reach up, get tall at the top of that pose. Okay, take this at your own pace. We're finishing this, we're dropping the weights, we're coming down to our mat for some more stretching. Now, we've been stretching throughout class, right? We stopped at numerous points and got some good, nice long stretches in. So we don't need a ton of extra time on our mats stretching out. And I feel like for a midday class, it's nice to leave the class feeling energized. I typically don't end in a Shavasana because personally, oh man, it's like a little nap in the middle of the day really screws me up. I feel like it's nighttime. Hold low, pulse up, 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 up. But if you all tell me, hey, don't take away my Shavasana, I want to end class in Shavasana, send me a chat and we'll do it. If not today, then next time. Put a little bend in that front knee. Pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Come to stand for your release. Good. Then toe heel your feet together. Drop your weights off to the side. We're going to come down to our mat. Let's come to our butterfly pose. Soles of the feet together. Okay. Flutter those wings where you want to go today. Make some more length through your backside. Open up through your chest. Reach your chest forward and up. Then let yourself fall over that butterfly pose. I like to take my hands holding around my feet and then press my elbows into my legs, pressing my knees closer to the floor. Keep a long neck here. Think about a long spine, broad shoulders. Don't let everything cave in. Hold and breathe. All right, take your legs out long in front of you. Cross one leg over the other. We're going to hug it in. Hug it in. This is another stretch similar to the feeling that you should have in a figure 4. Feels a little different for me. I like to really think about pushing my leg across my body at a diagonal. Hugging that knee in tight to my chest. Switch it out. Let's take that on our second side. Hug it in tight. Good. Create more length through your backside. Get your head up a little taller here. Straighten out that low back. Push your chest forward in space a bit. Make those little adjustments that make such a big difference in the stretch. All right, so come up to your knees now. We're going to take a little quad stretch. I'm going to turn to the side. I'm going to start just sitting on your heels and your knees. Then I want you to take your heels out on the outside of your butt. And then you're going to take your hands behind you, fingertips facing your butt. Slowly walk, 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 back, 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 back. And maybe land on your forearms. I want you to think about pressing your inner thighs together, pressing your knees into the mat. At the same time, relaxing back onto your forearms. Hold here for another deep inhale. Exhale it out. On your next inhale, walk back up. Come to a comfortable cross-legged position. We'll reach one arm up and over, side body stretch. Oh, let this be big. And really open up. Gaze up underneath your top bicep. Switch it out to your second side. We're gonna end class right here in this seated posture. Take hands to heart center as you're ready. Maybe take a moment to close down those eyelids. Take a moment of gratitude for this time we've just spent together. You did something so good for your body and your mind. And I'm so grateful that you allowed me to guide you through this practice. I wish you health and a great afternoon. And I hope to see you another week soon. Thank you, everybody.